They say the military is supposed to be your way out, your second chance, your fresh start. So what happens when you do everything right and life still falls apart? This is a story about survival, rock bottom, and the kind of revenge that has nothing to do with other people and everything to do with proving yourself wrong. Let me take you back to 2017. I was drowning. Poverty wasn't just knocking at my door. It had moved in and made itself comfortable. Drug addiction wasn't something I dabbled in. It was my daily reality. Depression wasn't a phase, it was my constant companion. I needed out, not just out of my situation, but out of my own head. So I joined the army. People talk about the military like it's this glamorous thing. Honor, duty, patriotism. And sure, maybe that's part of it. But for me, it was survival. It was structure. It was the only option I had left that didn't end with me 6 feet under or in a cell. I became an intelligence analyst. And for the first time in my life, I was good at something. Really good. I thrived in the structure. I excelled in the work. I found purpose. I wasn't just another statistic anymore. I was someone who mattered, someone who contributed, someone with a future. When I got out, I felt unstoppable. I genuinely believed I had turned my life around, that the worst was behind me, that I could do anything. So I went to school, and I crushed it. 3.8 GPA, Dean's List, multiple leadership roles. I was on track. I had a plan. I had a girlfriend I loved. I had friends who understood me, who had been through the same things I had. Veterans like me, who knew what it meant to rebuild. For the first time in my life, I felt like I was winning. And then, one by one, everything fell apart. It started with my relationship. Several years together. Real love, or at least what I thought was real love. But the strain of school, work, life, it got to be too much. We grew apart, and then we ended. Then the money problem started creeping in. Rent went up, bills piled up, the cost of living became suffocating. I was working, going to school full time, doing everything I was supposed to do, and it still wasn't enough. Then my school had a mass shooting. I wasn't there when it happened, but that doesn't matter. The fear, the trauma, the constant anxiety of knowing it happened in the place you're supposed to feel safe, it sticks with you. Every time I walked into a classroom after that, I was scanning exits. Every loud noise made me flinch. And then, the worst thing happened. One of my best friends, a guy I served with, someone who understood me better than most people ever could, took his own life. I didn't see it coming. None of us did. He seemed fine. He was handling things. Or at least that's what we all thought. His death broke something in me. I couldn't focus. I couldn't sleep. I couldn't function. Everything I had worked for felt meaningless. What was the point of succeeding if people like him, good people, couldn't make it? I moved back in with my parents. I thought maybe being around family would help, that I'd have support, a place to regroup and figure things out. But that's not what happened. They charged me rent, not a small amount either. Essentially, the same price I'd been paying to live on my own. There was no grace period, no take your time, just pay up or get out. And the emotional support I desperately needed, non-existent. No one asked how I was doing. No one acknowledged what I'd been through. No one seemed to care that I was barely holding it together. I felt more alone living with my family than I ever did living by myself. So I bounced around jobs. Anything to pay the bills. Anything to keep my head above water. None of them felt right. None of them felt like they mattered. I was just surviving again. The same way I was before the army. All that progress, all that growth. It felt like it had been erased. Then my girlfriend got pregnant. Not the ex. A new relationship. Someone I met after everything fell apart. Someone who, despite everything, decided to stick around. We moved in together, had our baby, and suddenly I had this tiny human depending on me. This perfect little life that needed me to have my act together. But I didn't. I was working full time. She was working, and we still couldn't make ends meet. Bills piled up. Stress mounted. I felt like I was failing. Again, I felt like everything I did in my life was for nothing. The army? For nothing. School? For nothing. All the effort, the discipline, the sacrifices? For nothing. I was right back where I started. Broke, struggling, feeling like I'd never be enough. But here's where the story shifts. Because I realized something. Sitting there one night, holding my kid, staring at the pile of bills on the table, I realized I was comparing my current struggle to my past success. And that wasn't fair. I wasn't the same person I was in 2017. I wasn't drowning in addiction. I wasn't numb from depression. I wasn't alone. I had a kid. I had a partner. I had skills, experience, a degree I was working toward. I had survived things that broke other people. I wasn't failing. I was rebuilding. Again. And maybe that's what life is. Not one triumphant rise from the ashes, but multiple climbs, multiple setbacks, multiple versions of yourself learning how to keep going. So I stopped feeling sorry for myself. I stopped waiting for life to get easier. I stopped expecting anyone else to save me. I started applying for better jobs. Jobs that actually use my skills. Intelligence analysis, security roles that valued what I learned in the Army. I reached out to veteran resources I didn't even know existed. Job placement programs, mental health support, financial assistance. I reconnected with other veterans who understood the struggle, who reminded me that just because things are hard doesn't mean I've failed. And slowly things started to shift. I got an interview, then another, then a job offer. Better pay, benefits, something stable. It wasn't immediate. It wasn't a miracle. It was just progress. My girlfriend and I started budgeting better. We cut unnecessary expenses. We asked for help when we needed it. We stopped pretending we had to do everything alone. We moved into a cheaper place. Not ideal, but manageable. A place where we weren't drowning every month. And I went back to school, online this time, slower pace, but still moving forward. My kid is 2 now, and every time I look at them, I'm reminded why I keep going. Not because life is easy, but because giving up isn't an option. The revenge in this story isn't against a person. It's not some petty payback scheme. It's against the voice in my head that told me I was worthless, that told me I'd always be stuck, that told me everything I did was for nothing. The revenge is proving that voice wrong. Every single day. People think success is linear, that you hit rock bottom once, climb out, and that's it. You're fixed, you made it. But that's not real life. Real life is messy. It's setbacks, it's trauma, it's losing people you love. It's struggling even when you do everything right. But real life is also resilience. It's getting back up. It's asking for help. It's redefining what success means. I'm not rich. I'm not famous. I'm not living some dream life. But I'm here. I'm sober. I'm present. I'm a parent. I'm employed. I'm moving forward. And that's the greatest revenge of all. If you've ever felt like everything you worked for was for nothing, drop a comment. Tell me your story. Tell me how you kept going or how you're still fighting. And if this story resonated with you, hit that like button, subscribe for more real talk, and turn on notifications so you don't miss the next video. Remember, your story isn't over, even when it feels like it is. See you in the next one.